First off, I just want to, just send our condolences and our thoughts to everybody at Michigan State. Obviously, it's a tough day across the country, and this crazy stuff just keeps happening. So we just want to send our thoughts and prayers to everybody there at Michigan State.
Questions wherever you guys are. Year two, after your first year, how do you feel just about the direction of the program?
Oh, I feel great. I feel great about everything from the academics. I think we've improved. Got some really, really great recruits on that side of it, on the academic side. And, we're about to open our new clubhouse and when we get back from the tournament. So, building-wise, we're doing well. And I think on the field, the product will be it'll be a fun group. Obviously, it's a veteran group. We've added some pitching, so we're excited to get started. We'll see where we're at after this weekend.
How was it different this offseason, being able to frame it all yourself ahead of time and not have to just kind of dive in?
Yeah, it's obviously, you have a head start. You know what it's gonna be about. I talked to the guys a little bit early on this when they came back from Christmas. I talked to our coaches extensively about it. We started so hot last year. We went to the tournament in Dallas or in Arlington and played so well. And I felt like we started the year so hot, and then, we kind of hit a little bit of a bump in the middle of the Pac-12 series. So, we're okay, obviously winning. We're never gonna say we don't want to win, but let's maybe hit our stride a little later in the year and make sure our pitching's a little healthier going into the playoffs. So. You like you said, you can frame it the way you want to do from the fall into the new year of 23. So we've tried to do our best to get the guys ready. We've played a bunch more inter squads, more innings. We've stretched our pitchers out a little bit longer, more guys especially. That will have to.
Do you think injuries were a big part of that lull in the middle, or?
That's a great question. I think if you look back, there were some key injuries, but also just probably lack of depth. This year or last year we had guys that we added to the team in the fall just so we had enough guys to play games. So we have a lot more depth this year.
Even though you have a lot of freshmen, do you feel like you know the personnel better at this time than you did maybe a year ago?
Yes. Obviously I've had one whole year with this group. The starters, for the most part, are going to be returners. So, you have more time with them. And then the freshmen we recruited, whether they were committed to the last staff, we got to know them over the whole last year. And, so you feel like you know the team a lot better for sure.
I've heard you say that one of the differences between college and MLB is how important every single game is for your postseason prospects and so forth. Knowing that now, how does it shape your decision-making, your planning? How do you go about just the day-to-day or over the course of the
Right. I think it doesn't change anything from last year because I realized it really quickly, and I have veteran coaches and Dave and Trip that made it very clear that we just can't punt any games. I've said that before. You just can't. Okay, it's fifth inning, we're down 4 or 5. You have to try to find a way to win because the RPI pretty much controls the playoffs and where you go and the seedings. So you want to win every game you can win here.
You mentioning depth, do you have multiple positions that you expect to rotate players at?
I think we'll get some younger guys in there early in the year. But again, we're playing to win every game. And who's earned those jobs through the fall program and then the preseason inter-squads, they're going to get the bulk of the playing time. So I think the tough thing for me as a head coach and our coaches is to massage it. We have a lot of high-achieving young players that are going to have to maybe sit a little bit this year, more than they probably are going to be comfortable doing, and that's my job as a communicator to let them understand that. We have a guy that'll speak here after me that's a perfect example for them in Chase Davis, who came into the university as one of the highest rated freshmen you could be, and he had to sit. That there was just guys older and more proven than him that year, but he handled it the right way, and here we go his junior year where he's obviously a pretty high draft prospect.
What's the next step to his game? your opinion?
I just think he has to do what he did last year. He has to continue to swing the bat like he did. He's a fantastic outfielder. We'll hopefully, probably the next step for me is just being a little bit better on the bases. Hopefully get him some stolen bases and teach him how to do that better than he did last year. So he just has to keep improving as a player. He's a very talented individual, so we're excited to continue to work with him.
Daniel dealt with this last year. Anytime someone coming into their junior year, or in Daniel's case, his sophomore year because he was eligible, all the hype, the expectations, you're on this list, you're on that list. People talk about the draft. Have you had any conversations with Chase about how to just manage all of that?
Yes. Yeah, we talk, and we try to talk as much as we can about it, but that's a very great point, Michael, and I think that it's not easy to handle. I mean, these are 18 to 22-year-olds, and all of a sudden now we have a bunch of scouts sitting in the stands, especially on Friday night against Tennessee. There's going to be a lot more, and they have to understand that it's not every at-bat is the end of the world. They're looking at more than just that. So that's definitely part of my job, and like I said, our coaches, we try to alleviate that stress as best we can.
You entered the season last year with some health issues, some pitchers that you had to bring along real slowly. Where do you stand physically in that respect?
I think we're in good shape physically. I won't say who at this point because scouting-wise, we don't want to give other teams a chance to just forget about those guys. But we do have some guys that will not pitch this weekend that we were hoping would, and we think are going to be big parts of our club come Pac-12 play. But as usual, there's always you get some guys nicked up a little bit, and we're not going to push them at this point.
What have you seen out of Brandon Zastrow for him to start the third game?
He's been great. I mean, he's earned that opportunity. I think he's a guy, eventually, he could either pitch on the weekend for us as one of whether it's Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, or he could be a huge a part of our relief corps and pitch 2 or 3 times in the weekend. He has been as good as anybody in the preseason.
How do you feel about your pitching depth ending into this season compared to your first year?
We were way more comfortable, let's put it that way. And like I said, we're not going to have at least 2 of the guys to pitch this weekend, and we still feel real good about playing 4 games. So to answer your question, 1,000 times better.
And then for TJ Nichols taking on that Friday role, what have you seen in his progression from last year to the start of this season?
Well, he pitched on Friday last year. He had some fantastic starts, and he had some that were not so memorable. And we just have to get his consistency. The Friday night guy, and if it is him, we start the season in the Pac-12 against California. If it is TJ, one thing that we need to see out of him is the ability to go deeper in games. We can't be using our whole bullpen the first night. So he knows it. He's been prepped on it. He's got good enough stuff to go deep. So we'll see how it works out.
Do you think what we saw from Tonko last year was representative of what he's capable of? Given that he was kind of coming off that elbow and he's also inexperienced at the same time.
The question's a little confusing because are you saying like what we saw good or because it wasn't very good?
The numbers weren't good.
Right, and he knows that. And the great thing for him was the experience. And because we talk about the question about depth, we didn't have a whole lot of depth. So Tonko kept running him out there. This year, whoever it is, we're not going to have that situation. We're going to have guys that are going to be fighting for those spots to start. So he got the experience. He's taken that experience, and in the preseason and in the fall, has been a different guy. So we're excited about Saturday and seeing him pitch against Fresno State. So the good things we saw from Tonko, that's what we've seen so far. We've seen a bump up in his velocity. We've seen tremendous control. And so we'll hope for that to continue. Like we've said, we'll know a lot more on Tuesday when we get back about this team than we do right now.
Because of the fact that all the games are that important, starting off with someone like Tennessee, what was your reaction when you first saw that you would get that as the first game?
No, we were excited. We were excited. We knew they were in the tournament. We were told early on we were going to play them Saturday night, somebody else Friday, and then all of a sudden they said it's Friday. And listen, it's an easy way to get the guys motivated. Let's put it that way. They've been excited. When the minute they saw we were playing Tennessee, they were pumped. So it should be a fun game.
You do have a veteran lineup in a lot of ways. You also have 3 newcomers. Can you just tell us a little bit about Kiko, Emilio, and Mason White?
Yeah, I think Kiko, obviously, being a CDO grad and a local kid and going up to Central and doing what he did and being the MVP of the Junior College World Series last year, we were just excited he came. He didn't get drafted. He didn't sign. Those are tough times, and you're kind of navigating that as a coach and trying to make sure what's best for him. If he would have signed, great, but we got him. He's experienced. He's a really good first baseman defensively. We're very comfortable with him over there. If we have to move him to the outfield because we're trying to get other guys in there, he can play right field, no problem. He's going to hit right in the middle of the lineup. I mean, I would assume, which is not really a smart thing to do, but just thinking about the lineup Friday night, he could be in the 4-hole. So obviously that's pretty high praise for a newcomer.
What about Emilio?
Emilio's been fantastic out in right field. He's got that ability. He can run better than people, I think, thought when we recruited him. He gets around those bases pretty good, and he can hit for power to all fields. So, we'll see. Do we run a platoon to start the year with maybe using Casagrande a little bit and Emilio? We've got a bunch of choices this year that we didn't really have last year. And then with Mason White, obviously another local, South Point grad, he's been great. He's the fall program. He hit a bunch of home runs. He's solid contact, playing short, playing second. I think he'll most likely find his way in that starting lineup the first day. We'll see what position, if it's DH. But he's somebody that we're very excited about, along with the rest of the young guys. But he has probably amongst them all put himself in a spot to be maybe a starter this year.
The MLB interview you did yesterday, it opened with some footage of, it looked like a lot of infield and fielding practice and all that. And I know the defense was up and down last year. Maybe part of that was having some guys out of position. How has that been? I'm sure you as an infield guy, that was a big deal.
Yeah, I thought by the end of last year we were really solid. I was really comfortable with our defense. I thought early we were not. And we made some changes, like you said. And I think this year, you got Tony healthy, who was not healthy last year, Bullard. You have Nick, who is as good as any big league shortstop that I've been around. What I mean by that is he's dependable. He's going to make all the plays. Guerin is Guerin. He got much better as the year went on. He was at third to start, then he moved to second. He's very comfortable. And then, like I said, Kiko's a big upgrade for us. I mean, Tommy Spillane came in and did a fantastic job for us. Kiko's got a lot more range. So we're excited about that. If we do put Mason in there, we've moved Guerin over to first. He's played some first base for us. He can do that. And Mason's a tremendous middle infielder. So I need to find ways to get these young guys in there. It's just like we talked about. Every game is a must-win game, and we have some older players that deserve to play.
Going from having someone like Daniel behind the plate with all of his experience and leadership and guiding pitchers and all that, now going with, I'm assuming, a combination of Cameron and Tommy behind the plate. What are you hoping from them? Can they do that same kind of leadership role with guiding the pitchers and all that?
Yeah, I think the leadership part, I think Tommy's shown a lot of leadership. Cam, same thing. I think, obviously, you're not going to be Dan Susak. We can't try to say, hey, we want you to be like him doing this, and you just have to be who you are. So the combination of the two, there's a good chance if we face a left-handed pitcher that they'll both be in the lineup. One might be the DH. So we're really happy with the way they've developed over the fall and the early spring. They've done a good job. Obviously, calling games isn't a part of it because the coaches call the games in college, so we don't have to worry about that part of it. But they've been great blocking. They've been great throwing. And we're happy as we can be with them. And then we have Colton Moore, probably is our third guy who can play anywhere on the field, a JC kid who we're comfortable putting back there too. So we really have 3 at this point with our freshmen sort of learning.
Well, and that was something that I think you were reluctant last year to have that second catcher be used as a DH, because if you had to take the catcher out, you didn't have somebody available.
Right. 100%. Well, that and, we'll just call that a coach's mistake for not getting Cam in there more last year. That was, I acknowledged that when the season was over, that he probably deserved more at bats than he got last year. So we're excited to see him. He's definitely got a really good bat.
What is the story behind the new uniforms, the white ones?
Well, when I got here, we wanted to get a white uniform, and we wanted to model them after the ones we wore in '86. And Coach Kendall got those. I think it was '85 we started wearing them. So we just wanted to have a white one to mix in, and we'll always be trying to throw some new stuff at the kids love uniforms.
How do you decide which one you go with each day? Does the starting pitcher get to choose?
No, we'll decide. We're kind of toying. We have our weekend because we got 2 home games, 2 road games in this tournament. So we kind of have it charted out, and we'll try to wear the red jerseys on Sunday at home at least. And then next year we have some new ones we're going to mix in too. So.
How important is it to kick off the season on MLB Network and being able to showcase your program?
I think it's awesome. It's all about getting these kids out there, getting our program out there. I mean, we feel like we are, one of the best programs on the West Coast in the country. We want to be in Omaha, and this is a good way to start it. And our kids are very, very determined to play well on Friday night. Now, it's our job to kind of get them to just relax and play baseball because there's going to be a lot of hype, and obviously you can't be too high. This is in game. You can't go out there and just on the opening kickoff knock somebody over. You have to breathe and play baseball.
Any more questions?
You guys head up there on Thursday?
Yeah, we'll practice here. We have the option to practice in either the Rockies or the Diamondbacks complex, but we'll just practice here, let the guys go to class on Thursday and leave about 5, 6 o'clock, get up there, and we don't play till night on Friday, so yeah.
All right, thank you.
Anything else? Thank you, guys.
Thank you.